In today's video, we'll be going through the latest Manchester United transfer news on the centre-back situation. The player that looks like the #1 DM priority, Olise, a big boost on that, the type of striker Man United want to sign, what striker they've actually inquired about, what centre-backs they've actually inquired about, among other news. We'll talk about some leaks, some information coming out about the mood around Carrington, the Man United training camp, Thomas Tuchel and why he wants the Manchester United job so badly, and some just other random Manchester United stories. So give me 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news coming out today for you guys. Please do hit the like button and do subscribe if you're new for daily United news. Let's start with this first story as per the United Muppeteers. They came out yesterday on their podcast and went into detail about transfers, manager situation, and a couple other changes that could happen at United. The first part is Tosin. Tosin is the centre-back of Fulham that's available on a free. Tottenham and Newcastle have expressed interest in him. Very, very good centre-back. I think when he's available on a 3 and we need 2 centre-back signings, sign this guy. You've got the money to look elsewhere. He may be going to Newcastle, though, because apparently he wants a suitable role. He wants to know that he can be a starter, and I think at United, he's someone you sign as backup because, I mean, he's good, but he's not like, I don't think he's a title-winning centre-back, but I think he's a really good third, fourth choice centre-back. Now, the 3 main names for centre-back are Todibo, Branthwaite and Tosin, and other names also Inacio, Silva and Bremer. Todibo, I think, is probably going to be the most likely because you've got to look at the price that the player wants to move, the relationship with Nice. I think Branthwaite, if he's available for the right price, they would pick over Todibo because I know that Ineos really like Branthwaite. But I think because Everton's going to ask for like 70 million or something ridiculous, it's probably going to end up being Todibo. And I think Tosin, if they can get him, they'll go for him. I think they would get Tosin and Todibo if they could get them both, or Tosin and Branthwaite if they could get them both. They do like Inacio, but he's very similar to Martinez. They do like Silva, but I think that depends on the price. And of course, they have an interest in Bremer. A lot of it will depend on the price, but they are the centre-backs they're interested in, and we've known that for a while. But it was said that United won't pay 80 million for Branthwaite. If United can get Branthwaite for 60 million, I think they'll get Branthwaite if they can get him for 60 million or less. They won't pay 80 million for Branthwaite. They've got to sign a left-back, a centre-back, a DM, a right winger and a striker, at least, arguably another centre-back and arguably another midfielder. 5 to 7 signings is what they need. Now, it was said that they will wait and see the situation with Everton, and I do think if Branthwaite's available for the right price, he will be picked over Todibo. It said that Sancho will very likely leave, and Olise is the top target for right wing. We do sort of already know that, but I think Sancho and Greenwood will go. I think Sancho himself will probably want to go, even if Tenor goes, and just take that wage cut, because I think he wants to get his career back on track. And I think that frees up money for Olise, who's the top right wing target. And we're going to get into a big boost on Olise in a second as well. Now, the problem with Neves and Silva is their price. If Silva's available for around 50 million, United would be in for him. United like João Neves and Antonio Silva. They've gone to Benfica games. They've scouted the pair, but Benfica know how to get money. Benfica got 400 million euros for Enzo, Nunes, Goncalo Ramos and João Felix. Do you know what I mean? Benfica know how to cash in. And if you look at it, I think Hulman is more realistic than Neves. They also were scouting Sporting and they looked at Hulman of Sporting. I think Hulman, Fofana, Anana, they are the 3 midfielders to definitely watch. I think next season United could be in for Neves, but I also think, well, we've got Kobbie Mainoo, we've got Bruno, we need that third player. Neves isn't a DM, Mainoo isn't a DM, Neves and Mainoo are quite similar. They need someone that is comfortable playing DM. Now, United are also looking at a striker signing. We've been linked to Sesko a lot, but they might look for a more experienced striker. And it said that United checked on Joselu months ago. We could get an older, experienced striker. Joselu's obviously just come off and scored 2 goals in the Champions League. They might want to do what Real Madrid have done and go for more of a reliable, older striker that can back up Højlund and be relied on if needed. And it was said that Ineos are not viewing the next manager by how many trophies he's won. They want someone who's an effective communicator and solid coach, which maybe is why there has been some stronger links to Southgate as of late. However, that being said, I think we're going to talk about Thomas Tuchel in a second. Thomas Tuchel believes he'll be the perfect coach to work in the new Ineos hierarchy. But before we do that, let's continue on with the transfer news. It was said the release clause in Michael Olise's contract, which is complicated and with various stipulations, is not as high as 60 million. There's some suggestions saying that it's more like 60 million euros, which is 53 million pounds. If Man United want Michael Olise, they're going to raise that money by selling Sancho and Greenwood. Olise is a Man United fan and wants the move. I don't know if he still wants the move, but he did want the move earlier in the season. 53 million pound release clause is a rumour going about. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's such a weird noise. I don't know why I made a noise like that. But damn, that is a deal. That is a deal. 53 million transfer. Wow. And it was said apparently that Chelsea have inquired about signing forward Mason Greenwood. I don't think Mason Greenwood will be in the Premier League next season. I think he'll be abroad, but apparently 2 Premier League clubs applied and one was Chelsea. Chelsea did deny those rumours, but other sources have said that Chelsea had a look at it. I don't know, because they've got a lot of left-footed right wingers, why they would go for Greenwood, because they've got like 50 of them, maybe centrally. Apparently West Ham did have a look at him as well, which doesn't surprise me. Let's continue on, because, guys, leaks have come out. It wouldn't be a Man United video at the moment without talking about leaks. And this is another one from Chris Wheeler saying the mood at Carrington is said to have sunk to as low as it was at any time under the final days of Solskjaer and Mourinho. There's a feeling within Carrington, within the Manchester United training ground, that Ten Hag is sat, that the season is over. And ultimately, the mood is flat. The players are not motivated. They're not listening to instructions. It's kind of toxic. It sort of looks over, I think, in the United camp. And I think they think Ten Hag has gone, so the players are giving up, which is a disgrace. No matter if Ten Hag stays or goes, no matter if you think Ten Hag stays or goes, we've got an FA Cup final to play for. We've got big games against Arsenal, Newcastle and Brighton. None of them are going to be easy. You know, the season isn't over. Yeah, you might think Ten Hag is going this and that, but the season is not over. And I feel like these players have gone, oh, the manager's gone. I can't be bothered anymore. It's a crap season. It's over. He'll be gone next season, so it doesn't matter. And I feel like those United players are mentally given up the season, which for me is an absolute disgrace. I think for me, you play for Man United, you put on our shirt. Nothing is up. You've got to win. You should fight for this manager. I want to see that. But I reckon that Carrington is probably pretty miserable at the moment. I mean, there was a leak that came out yesterday saying it's miserable around Old Trafford. Players are just unmotivated. They don't think they'll win another game this season. The confidence is low. And we saw that versus Palace on the pitch. And, you know, this isn't just Ten Hag. This happened under every manager. The mood got like this when they thought the manager's time was up. And it's up for the players to, you know, get the personality to turn things around. I think Martinez coming back into training will help, but we need more leaderships. We need more strong mentalities within the squad. Now, let's talk about the latest news on Thomas Tuchel, because Ben Jacobs said this on Thomas Tuchel. He said he believes he has unfinished business with the Premier League and Manchester United would be quite a good fit because Ineos would allow him to focus predominantly, if not almost entirely, on the football side. And that's what Tuchel relishes. He's a football-focused manager who doesn't necessarily want to be dragged into other areas of the business. This is why potentially he might be a good fit at United. And Thomas Tuchel's really open to the idea of United. He's basically, in a weird way, begging for the job without begging for the job. He's very open to United job. I think we're in a situation where if Ten Hag is sacked, Tuchel and Potter will probably be the most looked at because they'll be available on a free, unlike De Zerbi. Maybe Southgate, can't see them doing it. I think it's either Ten Hag sacked or Ten Hag stays. And if Ten Hag is sacked, I think it's Thomas Tuchel. We know Thomas Tuchel wants the job. Apparently, Ineos are going to have some talks with Thomas Tuchel in the coming days. Not sure if that's true or not, but if that is true, that's an indication if they are looking to get rid of Ten Hag, if they're having talks with Thomas Tuchel. We'll have to wait and see. He was asked to stay at Bayern all of a sudden because they couldn't find a replacement. He doesn't want to stay at Bayern. He wants to go back to the Premier League. Poch is turning things around at Chelsea. Don't think Chelsea will be back in for him. So, yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel could happen. I think that he can be a decent fit. I'd like ultimately Ten Hag to succeed and see what Ten Hag could do in a good structure and a good environment at United because I do think there's a good manager in Ten Hag. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ineos went for Thomas Tuchel. My only concern with Tuchel is he a long-term manager? Probably not. He's someone that's more of a short-term fix, and I think Ineos want a long-term project, which is maybe why they could back Ten Hag. Talking of a long-term project, because Casemiro definitely isn't one, he has not been included in Brazil's squad for Copa America. Andreas Pereira left Manchester United, gets in the Copa America squad. Casemiro joins, gets dropped. It tells you everything you need to know about the form of this club. And I don't think Casemiro could be too mad. He's been poor, and I've not seen a player fall off as quick as Casemiro in a while. Now, I think, to be fair to Casemiro, like a big part of it is Ten Hag's tactics and him upping the intensity, and we're not able to. He's hanging Casemiro out to dry in that midfield role, but the fall off is crazy. It was also said that Erik Ten Hag still wants Frankie de Jong. Even if Ten Hag is no longer at Manchester United, he'd like to sign de Jong. Well, yeah, no surprise there. And Donny van der Beek has picked up an Achilles injury, which resulted in him returning to the native Netherlands. I feel sorry for Donny. He can't play, and I think because Donny's barely played football in so long, whenever he does play now, his body's not used to it and he gets injured. I feel like it's sad, the downfall of Donny's career. He was this great player at Ajax. He wanted by Real Madrid, wanted by United, could have won like Ballon d'Ors, went to United, and I think he was kind of unfairly treated by Ollie. But to be fair, Ollie never wanted to sign him, was never used by Ollie. Never complained. You've got to think the players that don't get picked and put up a fuss at United, like Sancho. No player at Man United, in my opinion, got treated worse than Donny van der Beek, and he never put up a fuss. And I will always respect Donny for giving 100% in training, never putting up a fuss. You know, the injuries, the setbacks. He said basically 4 years of no football. And some of these players, you know, turn on Ten Hag because they don't pick him after 3 games of the season. Sancho refused to pay for us for 4 months. You know, it's sad what's happened to Donny van de Beek. He needs to move on. He needs to take a step down in his career and find somewhere he's going to be a regular starter. But I think his body's not used to playing because he's had 4 years without football. He's just become injury prone. It's so sad what happened to Donny because he was such a good player. And I do feel like a little bit like we ruined him because we brought him and we didn't want him. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.